Work session Monday, August 19th to order. The invocation given by Gary Stewart, the pledge of allegiance given by Greg Mastrom.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the very many blessings you've given us. We ask now that you watch over these proceedings and they'll be pleasing in your sight. Please watch over the citizens, the employees, and the citizens of our country as we go about our daily lives. Watch over the military, bring them home safely to their families. Guard, guide, and direct us so in the end we may all come to thee. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is the public hearing for alcohol license for Ralph Roberts doing business as Triple R Barbecue. So with that being said, this is time and place for a public hearing. Is there anyone here against this? Is there anyone here against this? Is there anyone here for this? Ralph? Ms. Phillips, we do the investigative report, please.
The applicant is Ralph Roberts. Type of license, retail beer and wine on and off premise. Doing business as Triple R Barbecue located at 2940 Veterans Drive. There was one business surveyed with no objection and 3 residents surveyed with no objections. The nearest church and school footage requirements were met. License application is in order. Health, fire, and building inspections comply and zoning verification complies.
Thank you. So that being said, that'll close. That'll end the public hearing. Ralph will do this again next week and vote on it. And also, wish you the best of luck. I was there the other night and we had 200 plus folks there, and food was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to item number 2, discuss Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal contract. Mayor?
In your packet, you've got the rates for the renewal for Blue Cross, our primary health care provider, and Symetra, the copay or the gap coverage. If you can go over my worksheet here, the current rates is $400 combined for Blue Cross and Symetra is $439.52 for an individual. It's going to be an increase to $470.88. $470.88 will be the new rate. This is a $31.36 increase per employee. This will come to about a $65,000 increase on our health care costs for this next fiscal year. The good thing is that our dental plan is a self-funded program, and so we're going to be carrying about a $32,000 carryover from our dental insurance. So that technically is an overfunded, and we'll continue to fund it at the same rate. So that $32,000 for this year could be applied to that 65, so it would be about $33,000 net increase because our dental will basically reset at the start of the fiscal year. And so this is something for y'all to ask questions. Me and Mr. Bailey, Mr. Stewart, Blue Cross reps, and Rick had met about 3 weeks ago, I guess, to go over all this. And this is what we're recommending.
Any questions from the council?
Has it increased every year at that rate?
I don't know the percentage increase from the previous year.
About 50.
Yes. Yeah.
In some years it's a smaller increase, and in some years it's substantially higher.
Any other questions? No, we'll move to next week's agenda. Go to item number 3, Discuss the lease of maintenance hangar at the airport. Rudder.
Mayor, Councilman. Steve asked me to come before y'all on some things we're trying to do at the airport. And one of them is, we got a lot of things going on, as the mayor said, it's awful busy, and I know from our meetings at the board meetings that we have, is that it's ongoing, a lot of projects, and we're real tickled with what's been going on for a long time. And something I wanted that I'm real proud of is the maintenance hangar that's been built about, I guess, 12 years that we've never really done any maintenance in it. And we've got a couple of gentlemen that are pilots, and one of them is an AI, A&P, and all those simply mean he's qualified to work on airplanes under FAA rules and regulations. And he's been just going from hangar to hangar, working on planes, which is kind of a wildcat, and it's not protecting him and the city and what we want to do and accomplish out there to carry things forward as far as maintenance on aircraft. And I come up with this idea of trying to get them in the maintenance hangar, and that's all for it. I called the mayor, brought him out there, he came out and we talked about it, and he was all aboard on it. And Paul Jacobs and Chris Martin already have an LLC, Martin Aviation, and they've got the insurance that indemnifies the city and names them as additional insured, which puts them under an umbrella, which we hadn't had because people just been wildcatting. And what this does, they've got license, I think, with the city to operate as a business. They've been working on the hangar, cleaning it out. We talked, the mayor's talked with Philip, with Channing, with the electric power board to get the electricity, to make sure that they have their own readout for electricity. We talked about some other things, a heater, and we won't talk about that tonight because it's 100 degrees outside. I mean, you're talking about October before they need any heat. But that's the only thing I see that they'll need with what they're not bringing into it. They infusion with about $20,000, $10,000 a piece. I said I'm looking up to sit on the TARCOG revolving home fund board, and we do loans for startup businesses just like this. And we done one the other day, and for a man and his wife who didn't have anything to put in the business, and they loaned them, and that is government money, but they're not having to make a loan like that. So I think it's a win-win situation. Steve and I talked about the lease at EDA meeting down in Aviation. We spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours on it. And I appreciate Steve's time on that. And we tried to cover all the bases we could, and I believe we did. And I'm not real good on numbers without looking at something, but in a 70 nautical mile radius, there's 53 airports and only 10 of them have maintenance. So there's 1,780 aircraft, single engine aircraft in that 70-mile radius, 245 multi-engine aircraft, and 124 jets. And those aircraft, a lot of those are coming in and out of our airport. We will be able to service them with any type of need that they need to have. We had one come in Sunday, and they just happened to be out there working on a hangar that needed work done on it to get out of here, and they were able to perform that. Maintenance on my airplane. I fly 3-4 times a week, 300 hours a year, and I had to go to Lafayette to get maintenance done. And it's nearly $50 to $75 round trip. Sometimes I go over there 3 times a week. So if my plane's costing that, it's costing a lot of others for bigger airplanes to come in. The thing I'm tickled about is too on this deal is that I talked with David Campbell. I sit on his board out at the college, and Snead College already has education classes set up for maintenance for aircraft and also avionics. There's three different parts to an airplane. There's avionics, there's the engine power plant, and the frame for the airframe for the airplane. So this will create jobs, high-paying jobs, by letting those, David's going to set me up a meeting with the people at Snead, that we can run people through training sessions with, I guess you'd call it an apprentice program, through Chris and Paul, and the mayor and I talked about this, to help create those kind of jobs in Scottsboro, which would be a big benefit and a high-paying job. So not to be redundant or keep going over the same thing, I know y'all got a long meeting. I'll kind of end it there, which we talked about the lease would be they're going to do it for a year and then maybe with the 5-year option. And it gives them, the city is giving them a deal on the building to, help them get started, help provide these jobs. I hope in the 5 years or 6 years that the term runs out, you got 7 or 8 people working in that 8,000 square foot hangar, making, $60,000, $70,000 a year, high-paying jobs. And it's another thing, it's another tool in our toolbox to go after what we're trying to do with the committee that the mayor got up, that we've gone to Washington 3 or 4 times in Roy Light. It's kind of, work on a great diagram to get the construction, not construction, but to do the inner work to the grounds to be able to build hangars, to fit maybe some military contracts that they get in the future. And he could tell you all about that if you ever want to call him, but he's got all the drawings for it. And I know he's fixing to retire, but we're not going to let him get away. He's a valuable piece of a person to have to come up with all this stuff. I ain't gonna let you get out of here. You're retired like I am, we don't want to leave. But I said all that to say this, it's just another tool in our toolbox to get people to come into Scottsboro and realize what we have, and to get better paying jobs. And with that, I'll entertain any questions that any of you might have.
Let me add, of course, Rudder goes 90 to nothing, then I try to fill in the gaps and put dollars to certain parts, but we are going to have to spend some improvements to the hangar. Like you said, it's 12 years old. We've got to add some security lighting, 220 volt outlet. We need a gas heater. So we've estimated all these additional repairs and improvements to the hangar not to exceed $5,000. So we do need some money set aside from the sales tax for the improvements to get it. It doesn't matter who leases it, it's going to be improvements that's got to be made.
And Gene Nichols has been out there and seen what we needed for fire protection.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. It's been a lot of help to us. Moses has been out there.
Yeah. So I'm saying we had.
So thanks, and they cleaned it up. You can eat off the floor. It's a real good operation to see that 8,000 square foot hangar. Like the mayor said when we were talking about that out there, it's a maintenance hangar. It's not been used for a maintenance hangar. So this tickles me that we're doing that. And like I say, I mentioned it to him, he jumped right on it, and we went to work on it, and I've tried to keep everybody up to date on what's going on. Anybody else got any questions or add to it? Or Mr. Cameron?
I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you, Rudder, for all the hard work you put in. On that side of it somewhat, you've done a whole lot of work.
Well,
and I appreciate it.
It's something I love to do. Aviation is something I was raised in. I've been doing it 44 years.
Yeah.
Even though I'm just 45.
I prepared a lease document based on my discussions with Mr. Williams and with Mr. Jacobs and Martin Aviation. As stated previously, it's not been used for the purpose that it's built. Over a 6-year period, there would now be $30,000 to $40,000 worth of income coming to the city out of rental. In addition to that, the jobs and convenience for the customers. So it appears to be a win-win situation.
A lot of transit flights, not just counting the industry that we have that come in here, and Coach Saban comes in here a lot, The governor comes in here a lot. And I don't know what coach from Omaha, what's his name? Mustang or something. Something like that. Any other questions?
I just want to thank you too, Rudder. With helping with this, I know conversations that I've had with with Paul Jacobs on several occasions about planes flying in, needing maintenance. So this will definitely be a benefit for that. But they also buy gas.
Yeah.
While here, and it's a whole lot of gas when they.
It's like, Steve and I talked about when we were meeting in Orange Beach, that it's a win-win situation for the city. And it's a pleasure for me to work with all y'all. I mean, and the mayor, he just jumps in there and jumps on it, you know, and to have people that he put on that committee, Roy Light and Mike's on it, we got a good committee that is, you can take those people that put on that committee and get some things done. And it's a pleasure to work with. I like doing it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll put that on next week's agenda as well. Go to item number 4, discuss the airport grant city match. Mayor?
Yeah, you've got here, as you know, we've been awarded some grants at the airport, and we need to go ahead and reserve some funds. Probably, well, the lighting project, some of that may actually start in September, but it'll certainly go into the next fiscal year. And if you look here, the lighting reconstruction, the city match of 5% is $21,989. Then the runway marking and seal coating, we had bid that out at the same time. The county had agreed to split the cost of this project. That's $58,312.05. So I'm asking to reserve $80,301.05 out of sales tax to go towards this. I have requested some assistance to the EDA board. They don't meet till later this week. You can see there on the sheet what I've asked as far as a split. I don't know how much or how little they can contribute to the project, but I want you to know that we've reached out to them to participate as well. But at this time, we're asking for the $80,301 to be set aside in sales tax for this. So we'll have it reserved for the 2 projects.
Any questions? Comments? No, we'll put that on next week's agenda as well. Go to item number 5, discuss King Caldwell Park fence. Mayor, you can go this.
Yeah, as you know, that's a split rail fence, and it's, I guess, gone beyond its useful life. And to try to extend the life of it some, we took up split rail fence that was at Civic Center at Goose Pot. So we've used those parts from that fence. As you know, we've had trees fall and people lean against them and different things, and it's about extended its life. And so we've gotten 3 different prices. Alan had worked on this from the street department, and so I'm recommending or asking that we do the split rail fence of cedar from Greens. It's $9,102, so that it would be after our Sunday that we could replace the fence at Caldwell Park.
Any questions?
So who's going to do labor on this?
It'd be the street department guys.
Any other questions? I'll put it on next week's agenda as well. Go to item number 6, discuss purchases for the street building and maintenance. Mayor?
Again. You got, I think it's on the second page here, the street department had asked for a generator and some hand tools, which comes to $2,163, and then Philip had asked for a generator as well, so that he'll have his own. I think right now he's borrowing an old rec department. And it works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't, so we've got these two requests for purchases here at the end of the year.
What fund is that gonna come out of?
Sales tax.
Any other questions? Put that on next week's agenda. But item number 7, discuss city property, the vacant lot on the corner of South Houston and 93rd Street. You want to read this? Or you want to read it?
I'll let you do one.
Yeah, I see my name on here too, so. The Scottsboro Commercial Development Authority would like to request ownership of the property currently owned by the city of Scottsboro on the corner of Apple Tree Street and South Houston Street to market and assist with commercial development. We feel as though we have the resources and foresight to help make this asset work better for the community through retail development. Thank you for your consideration. Tanner Harlan, Chairman of the CDA. Any questions on that? No, we'll move that to next week's agenda as well. Go to item number 8, announce vacancies on the Downtown Redevelopment Board. Ms. Phillips.
Emily Bradford has resigned from the Downtown Redevelopment Board. Her term expires October 2024. Anyone interested in filling this term should apply in writing to the city clerk's office by 4:30 on Friday, August 30th, 2019.
Thank you. Go to item number 9, announce vacancies on the zoning board adjustment. Ms. Phillips.
Ted Crona, Tim Saint, and Roger Weegens' terms on the zoning adjustment board have expired. These are 3-year terms. Anyone interested should apply in writing to the city clerk's office by 4:30 on Friday, August 30th, 2019.
Thank you. Go to delegations. Rick. You, Sarah.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. Do y'all have a copy of y'all do have a copy of the grant request? Okay, all right, so we're good. Sarah's here because she is, as y'all know, JP is retired, and Sarah is kind of taking up that along with her other responsibilities, which is a lot, so her plate is certainly full. First of all, I want to thank y'all for your partnership for many, many years. In tourism, last year, if y'all saw the new reports, tourism in Jackson County grew 18%, the second largest growth of any county in North Alabama, number 2. So that's pretty doggone good. It's up to about $64 million was spent in Jackson County in tourism expenditures in 2018, and so we want to continue to grow that. Each year, the chamber budget's about $55,000 for fishing tournaments. I say fishing tournaments now because in the past it's been bass tournaments, but this year we brought in 2 brand new tournaments, crappie tournaments. And one of them was a championship tournament by pros. These were fishing pros, and they absolutely loved Lake Gunnersville, and it's on their particular tournament's on TV, and they've already requested to come back next year. So we continue to get requests. As y'all know, Lake Gunnersville has just been rated back to number 2 in the nation for largemouth bass. So we want to take advantage of that. Well, this fall we are hosting the Alabama Bass Trail. If you're not familiar with Alabama Bass Trail, it's just like the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, but it's for bass fishing. The Alabama Bass Trail goes all over the state of Alabama, and they host the tournaments. Their economic impact is massive. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 million, and every year they hold a championship. They rotate that championship around, and this year we have been asked to host the championship. This will be the second time that we've hosted it. We get it about every probably 3 to 5 years. Everybody wants to come to Gunnersville, but they can't come every year, so this is our turn to do that. The request that they have They've asked, we have to provide 25 hotel room nights at a 3-star hotel, complimentary meeting space for the tournament registration, $10, and we're doing it a little bit different. Used to, they would have us feed those up to 380 or so anglers. This year, they're asking for $10 per angler and letting the anglers eat out in the community, which I think is much, much better because everybody gets to partake of the money that's spent in the community, not just one particular restaurant. So a venue for the weigh-in, overnight security, complimentary ramp fees, electric and water hookups, waste management for the dumping, adequate restroom facilities, emergency personnel, bleachers or chairs for spectator seating. They also, the host shall pay the Alabama Bass Trail a host fee of $10,000. So that's the reason we are here. We have pretty much depleted our money or revenue that we put up for bass tournaments each year. So the total project budget is $16,550. We're requesting $10,000 from the city. The chamber will provide the balance of that of $6,550. The economic impact for this particular tournament is estimated to be $450,000. For a one-day tournament, that's not bad. There'll be people coming literally, they've qualified for this tournament, they're coming from all over the state. So they'll be staying in our hotels and campgrounds, and we'll certainly see a huge impact from it. But that's there's a formula that a professor from Auburn University has done. We plug the numbers into the formula, and it says that we should have an economic impact for our area of $450,000. So that is our request. This tournament is coming up in October, so it's right around the corner. We're trying to finalize this to be able to take advantage of this. So, any questions?
Rick, when did y'all get the request for the tournament?
This particular tournament came to us earlier this year, probably early spring. Is when we got it. Unfortunately, it was right in the middle of when JP was retiring, and we were transitioning without a tourism director. So we're probably a little bit late getting to y'all to ask for this request, but be in the springtime. So
When do you have to have them?
no, it's done. We don't. I mean, we've committed. Yeah, they required a commitment early, so we're gonna have to do it no matter what. If we have to do it on our own, we'll manage somehow. We get 1 3/4% of the lodging tax, plus $1 per room per night surcharge. Obviously, when y'all increased the lodging tax here a few years ago, previous administration, y'all are now at, if I remember correctly, let's see, 14%, we get 1 3/4. Y'all are about what, 11%? Somewhere thereabouts.
How soon you gotta pay?
That's a good question, Mike. Let's see here.
The reason I say that, we have depleted their funds that we had allocated for tourism this time. We might have to table this and talk about it at another work
Well,
session.
we can talk about it in the budget.
We'll get it paid one way or another. If we have to dip into some other funds to be able to do that, we would be able to do it right now.
This will be in the next budget year when this took place.
But this is the biggest trail in the state of Alabama, the Alabama Bass Trail. It's created for the very reason to create tourism in the state of Alabama. No questions?
Any other questions?
Thank y'all for the
Thank you.
partnership. Thank you.
I want to thank Sarah for everything she's been doing. You're doing a great job, Sarah. Appreciate you. Good reports, Mayor.
Only thing I've got, Parks Avenue Bridge is moving along well. I'm not supposed to say it's ahead of schedule, so I won't. We do have some drainage tile, Roy and them were good enough to camera some of the drainage tiles up by Big C up through there. We've got to replace some drainage tiles, which should help down through there, alleviate some of the water problems. They're going to be addressing that this week and next week, but it's moving along quite well. Other than that, that's all I've got.
Thank you. Gary?
No, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. We appreciate the input. It's rather slipped out, but we appreciate his work. Rick, we appreciate the chamber's work and everyone's work for the city of Scottsboro. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashburn.
Mayor, I have one question on the Parks Avenue project. If they get the bridge done, how soon can we maybe expect some paving on it?
I think it's slated to be paid first of October.
Okay. Other than that,
It's on the schedule.
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Mr. Bailey?
I don't have anything, I just appreciate y'all coming. I just want to say, don't miss out on the yard girls here tonight. Y'all remember them.
Mr. Mashburn?
Only thing, I got a couple of things. One of them, on number 6, on the purchase of the generator for the street and the maintenance department, would that not come out of their budget instead of sales tax, Mayor?
Just have to get with Rick to see.
Okay. The other thing is, last week, I know we mentioned a little bit about recycling. We've got a SWDA meeting tomorrow at 5. And hopefully we'll get a lot of questions answered. I know I've got a lot of questions on why we're not there yet. And I know we got stopped in February, and I was given a portfolio that it would be started in the second week of June. So there'll be some questions, hopefully.
Be glad for.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Just a couple of things. We'll start having budget meetings here real soon. Try to get those compiled and finalized in a timely manner. The other thing, I got an email from Daryl Eustace, which is our presiding judge over the municipal court, talking about the Alabama Attorney General inquired investigation into the municipal court, and he has in the documentation that I'm looking at that there were no violations were found. So the investigation will become inactive. So that's all I have. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Appreciate it.